Hello everyone, my name is Andrés Mauricio Potes Morales. I am a first year student in the Doctoral Interinstitutional Education at Universidad del Valle, Colombia. As I am a first year student, I am still in the process, and what you are about to see is the advance that I have accomplished so far. Welcome to my presentation. The title of my project is Critical Interculturality in English Language Teaching through the Use of Technology, the Case of Public Secondary Schools in Cali. The context in which I'm carrying out my project is Colombia, which is a country that has a wide history of socioeconomic inequality, but it also has a diversity of races, ideologies, languages. In fact, there are 68 total native languages spoken by 850,000 speakers. Most of those languages are indigenous and they are at risk currently. The city in which I am carrying out the research project is Santiago de Cali, a city that has almost 3 million inhabitants in the metropolitan area. This study has become even more relevant with the current situation we live in. New technologies and critical thinking are needed in the Colombian context. Teaching English through a critical perspective in a critical interculturality must be explored in depth. This study also contributes to the discussion of the digital natives and digital immigrants, as well as the discussion on the digital divide in Latin America. Not everybody has access to technological devices and to these new technologies. So here is the definition on critical interculturality. I'm just gonna focus on the third paragraph that you're seeing on screen right now, which is kind of a summary. A pedagogy based on sociopolitical, epistemic, and ethical values that lead the student to question, reaffirm, and build different forms of being and living, turning from a unified and monocultural philosophy of the educational industry and its Western modern foundation towards a life-based, humanized, and decolonial practice. Basically, that is the definition given by Catherine Walsh in 2009. The authors you're seeing at the bottom of this slide are those that support this definition. The authors that have founded the literature review of this study are shown on screen: about theory, international studies, and national studies. And about technology and English language teaching and interculturality have been explored also on the international studies, on the international level. National studies, most of them have been carried out in higher education here in Colombia, and most of them are theoretical. And the national studies at the school level are most focused on the linguistic development, and some of them have been focused on the intercultural communicative competence, but it's been more on the contrastive level than on the critical aspect. The cultural have been addressed at the superficial level. Here are the research questions that guide the study. The main question is, to what extent do English teachers foster critical interculturality through the use of technology in public schools in Cali? And the subsidiary questions are, what are teachers' beliefs regarding critical interculturality, English language teaching, and technology? The second one is, what teaching practices develop critical interculturality through technological resources by English teachers? And the third one is, what critical intercultural skills do students develop in English classes through the use of technology? The objectives of the study are to understand critical interculturality fostered through English teachers' use of technology in public schools in Cali. And the specific objectives are To describe teachers' beliefs regarding critical interculturality, English language teaching and technology. To identify teaching practices that develop critical interculturality through technological resources used by English teachers. To explore critical intercultural skills developed through the use of technology. The research design is an explanatory sequential mixed method, characterized for having two phases, the first one being quantitative and the second one being qualitative. As you can see on screen, the focus is on the qualitative part, and you are seeing on screen the data sources that are going to be implemented. The techniques and data collection instruments are going to be survey, which given the current situation are going to be applied online through online questionnaires. The data obtained in that with that instrument is going to be used for answering part of the first and second research questions. Another questionnaire will be used for purposefully sampling typical cases of teachers that are implementing critical intercultural strategies by using technology. I'm going to use also semi-structured interview to obtain the teachers' opinions, perspectives, and own voice to get the data from the teachers and from some typical cases of students who show development of critical interculturality. I'm going to use non-participant observation. Of course, this depends on the permission given by the teachers and the parents of the students and also the students who are going to be observed. Given the current situation, probably this observation is going to be carried out online as well through video conference methodology. So probably I'm going to have access to those video conference classes. And also I'm planning to carry out focus group interviews with students who display typical skills. The participants in the first phase are, as I mentioned before, English foreign language teachers in secondary school. A representative sample will be taken from that. And the second phase, 2 to 10 English foreign language teachers and 5 to 10 students. I say 2 to 10 and 5 to 10 because it depends on the initial cross-sectional survey that I'm going to apply, and I'm going to select the typical cases. And as this second phase is qualitative, I will focus on fewer cases instead of a broad number of cases. And I will select them according to the previous data collected in the first cross-sectional survey applied. On screen you are seeing right now a table that summarizes the whole research design, okay? So you may want to stop the video if you want to analyze and take notes about it. The ethical considerations of this study are basically related to the information that I will provide the participants, which will be thorough information, and the informed consent that I will need from teachers, students, and even the parents of those students who want to participate in the study. Right now you're seeing the research schedule table that I have designed for the future parts of my research. So that was the whole presentation. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, any suggestions, and any recommendations, I am more than welcome to receive them and to answer those questions that you may have. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, this is a process, and the research process is improving through time. So thank you very much for your attention. Bye bye.